What's up, guys? Today's Friday, the 28th, and I want to wish everybody a very happy Bill and Ted Friday, because today Bill and Ted 3 is coming out in theaters, and to celebrate that, of course, I had to do the cool thing and wear my Wild Stallions t-shirt and dress like Ted Theodore Logan off of the great 80s classic series Bill and Ted. So, super excited. 30 years later, they finally come out with a third installment of this movie to complete the trilogy. Really exciting day. If you guys have time, check it out. You can stream it if you'd like. You can also go and watch it at a drive-in, which is what I'm doing tonight. Anyway, the name of the game today is the Chromatic Scale. So, you're going to need the mode sheet. I want to talk to you about how you're going to figure this thing out. Down here, you see on the mode sheet, you've got this whole box. Now, down here, as I zoom in, underneath the box of all the scales, you see the chromatic scale ascending, which obviously means to go higher, and then chromatic scale descending, which means to go lower. I've written the notes all in order underneath that box for you to be able to look at each note as you're playing your chromatic scale. You'll notice as we're going higher, you're going to see sharps, because as you climb up the staircase, a sharp means you're going to raise a note. It's just naturally how musicians like to see stuff on the page. When you're going down, descending, you're going to see flat signs. That means you're going to lower things. So that chromatic scale, you're not going to start on a C every time that you play the chromatic scale, because that depends on like your transposition. So if I'm a tuba player or any other B flat concert pitched instrument, I'm going to start on a B flat if the entire band is playing together on the chromatic scale. If you're a B flat transposing instrument, like as you see in the transpositions, clarinets, tenor sax, trumpets, and the other instruments, you guys are going to start on your C. If you're an E-flat instrument, like an alto sax, bari sax, contralto, clarinet, you're going to be starting on your G. And then for the French horns, you start on your F. Now, how to play the chromatic scale. There's a warm-up that we do that puts the woodwinds and the brass together, and those of you that have been in band before know how this goes, at least in the high school band. Not necessarily everybody coming up from middle school or transferring from other schools know the way that this works. So I'm going to demonstrate that in a second. But to prepare yourself for it, what I want you to do is start on the first note that I had just mentioned as your starting pitch for the chromatic scale. Then I want you to get used to descending from that note by half steps. So if I'm a sax player, I start on my G, and then a half step lower than that is an F sharp. I know that naturally because I've done this for years. If you struggle with that a little bit, use the mode sheet, find that note that I was talking about. So I'm looking at either the chromatic scale ascending or descending, doesn't matter. The next note, if I'm going down from a G as a saxophonist, I would see if I go to the left on the chromatic scale ascending, okay, I'm playing an F sharp. If I'm just following the written descending scale, I would see, okay, the next note in the scale after a G is a G flat. F sharp, G flat, those are enharmonic notes, which means they sound the same, they're just spelled differently. So what I want you to do is get used to descending, going down from that root note that we had first established, your B flat concert pitch. One note at a time. So I made the choice to go all the way down to the bottom of the range on the saxophone. When we do this warm-up activity all together with everybody, we don't go that far down on everybody's instrument. But it's good for you to know how to descend that far when you're practicing. So the way that this warm-up is going to work is that we're going to start on that first note of the chromatic scale, and we're going to take it all the way up to the next octave, and we're going to play it on eighth notes, just straight eighth notes. So here's the way this is going to work. I'll do this slowly. So I just went up one octave and I played all of the chromatic notes from the low B flat concert to the higher B flat concert. Now, do the same thing again, but start a half step lower. So I just started on a G for a saxophone. I'm going down a half step from that, so I'll be starting on my F sharp. Again, if you're a B flat or if you're a non-transposing instrument, you would be going down to your A natural. If you are a B flat instrument, then you're going to go down to a B natural, and if you are an F instrument, then you go down to your E natural. That would be your next starting note. Then we'll go down another half step from that. Then another one. Then another one. And then one more. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this in full sequence with how we normally play this during warm-ups with everybody. And this is in real time. Okay, so when we combine that together with woodwinds and brass, when we start getting brass going on lip slurs, anytime I call out the warm-up, let's play lip slurs and chromatics, that's what the woodwinds are doing when we play them ascending. We'll go over descending at another time, but for this week I want you to practice on your chromatic scale, and when you're turning in a video recording of yourself playing, I want to hear you play through that cycle with your chromatic scales. It doesn't have to be like what I just played just a second ago. You can stop in between each of those scales that you play if you need to do that for right now. I just want to hear you do a clean run through that entire cycle. So good luck practicing that. I look forward to hearing you guys on your chromatics.